Welcome to the Innovation Meets Leadership podcast. Real inspiration for real innovators. If you're looking for innovation and leadership transformation, your journey starts now.
Welcome to the Innovation Meets Leadership podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Born. If you're enjoying these innovation insights, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a future episode. By following the Innovation Meets Leadership podcast, you will stay at the forefront of trends, strategies, and real-world examples that impact today's innovators. And I am so excited for this innovator we're going to talk to today. You're going to have some fun with us. We have Jolynn Ledgerwood, and she has spent over 25 years in learning and development with companies like PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, and Toyota. And she is passionate about helping teams work better together. And she loves using Lego Serious Play to get it done. And I cannot wait because I have actually been looking forward to this episode and learning more about Lego Serious Play. So you're in for a treat. She's also a certified with Bob Golf's Dream Big, Gallup Strength Finders, and she just helps bring out creativity in teams. So welcome to the podcast, Jolynn. I'm so excited for you to be here with us.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited.
All right, so let's talk about many people as they're listening, they may be like, what is this mean, Lego Serious Play? Tell us more.
Yeah, so it was a program that was designed by the Lego Group many, many years ago. And for those that don't know, the Lego Group has gone through many iterations. They've almost filed bankruptcy twice, but they reinvented themselves as they've gone along. So if you ever, one little side note, if you're ever struggling with your work, remember Lego Group is still here. So they're about to, in 2032, they'll celebrate their 100-year anniversary. But yes, years ago, they started working with like the education piece and how Lego bricks can help people think and build their thoughts and build their ideas. And it didn't really take off very big. But one of the founding Lego Group family members saw the value in it and continued to build and develop it to what we have today. It's called Lego Serious Play. I had never heard of it before. It's a couple of years ago, a friend of mine from Germany brought over a small kit called Build a Duck, and it's got 6 pieces in it. And it's obviously very abstract. Everybody builds a duck. They're all right. Like, so it fosters this creativity that so many of us squashed when we were little. And as soon as you're done playing recess or having art classes, you don't really, unless you are a creative, you don't have a way to really push that outlet out, to use that outlet. So I did some research, looked into it. There's over 15,000 practitioners in the European countries and overseas, and there's only 100 in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that's crazy. Like, we love Legos. Like, why is there such a disparity? And the more I think about it and the more I talk to other people, I've always believed that Americans have this box that this is what work is. And if it doesn't fit in this box and it's not work and it can't be good, so we're not going to do it because it's not productive.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's the exact opposite. When we think with our hands, we open up 80% more brain power. And if you think about that, you're just like, what? Like, how is that possible? Like, I'm thinking, I'm contributing. And through my work with Gallup Strengths and now Lego Serious Play, we all have different brains. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different things that we bring to the table. And by asking everybody to sit in a conference room and strategize together as a team, some people just, their brains just don't work that way.
Yeah.
And so using the Lego bricks, it's a very specific methodology. It's a 4-step process. The facilitator will pose a question. The group gets to build, quiet time to build. And then the group shares their build. So we each describe what we built and how and all the things. And then at the end, the group members can reflect. So ask questions of each other's build. And it's more of a positive coming from a mind of curiosity than it is judgment. So it's not, well, why did you use, yellow bricks instead of green bricks? Yellow, it's more of a, will you help me understand what you built and what your thought process was when you built it?
Wow.
And so everybody has a seat at the table. If you're in the room with us, you're building, whether you're the CEO, the admin, the loudest salesman on the team, the quietest engineer on the, whatever, everybody's building and everybody is contributing to the process at hand. Now, it can be applied in team building, siloed organizations, strategic thinking. It can be I mean, it really just has an unlimited amount of ways that you can apply Lego Serious Play. And really, anybody can use Lego bricks in their work. They really can. You can have a Lego table at work where everybody builds, but the methodology that we use is what really drives the results and really gets the groups to open up and see each other and what they built. And your subconscious comes through a lot when you're building. And I think that speaks volumes for people that may not know how to articulate what they're thinking or what they want or not feel safe. Those builds allow them to be able to do that. So that's a really long-winded answer to your question, but it's phenomenal. And seeing it at work is just it drives me to keep doing more.
Yeah, I love this. And I always think about the stat, like when you talked about how 80%, how did you say it?
80% more brain power when you use your hands.
Okay. I love that because 50% of our brains are actually devoted to visual thinking as well. And I love the idea that you're taking something tangible and you're helping people express something tangible. For me, I as an internal thinker, somebody that likes to, think internally before I speak, being able to use my hands to kind of build what I'm thinking or think through the process or use some of those critical thinking skills and extend them. I really love what you're talking about here because it creates this momentum in conversation that we don't have when we just sit back and talk around a room. The other thing that happens when we just talk around a room is no one's actually kind of codifying what we're even talking about oftentimes. And so this actually gives us kind of a model for what are we focused on and talking about, and then how do we build on that as a team.
Well, Natalie, they may save it on the dry erase board with the marker that doesn't work. I mean, it's written down there, right? I mean, that's how we're saving these thoughts. But the other thing that environment creates is that, and when I say that environment, I mean the conference room, table, everybody think about what we're going to do, and it's all serious. And people are afraid of, or can be afraid, I'm not saying everybody is, but can be afraid of being their authentic selves because there might be judgment, there might be criticism. They might not be looking at all the information, maybe just the piece that they own or that they contribute to. And when you build, your subconscious comes through. So I always say, don't overthink it. Whatever your brain is telling you, just start building. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you build is right for you. And that there's so much value in, whatever you build, it's right. No one can criticize your build and say, that's not a duck. It is a duck to me. So that's my duck, right? And so when people build their ideas of what they contribute to the organization or what do potential impediments look like to our business, it looks different to different people. And when you ask questions about the build, and I'll throw myself in here. I've got a Lego 2x4 yellow brick for those of you that are just listening, with the minifigure standing on top, and the minifigure has one leg up. And so this was part of my build when I was asked to build my ideal CEO. And I obviously it was more to it than just this, but I talked about, I want my CEO to, support the group and be, advocates for the group. And I can't remember all that I said, but the facilitator looked at this piece and said, I noticed the person has one leg up. Is there any significance to that? And I thought, I don't remember putting the leg up, but at the time when I was asked that question, I said, yeah, I always want my CEO to be forward thinking, to be looking at the future, to not be stuck in where we are today, but where can we go and where are those possibilities? And had she not asked that question, I never would have thought about it. And it's something as innocuous as just the leg up, but it can be anything from, a yellow bricked pavement moving forward. That may not mean anything to anybody, but it may mean like a yellow brick road to somebody else. And those metaphors that we build in are so powerful. A green brick can just be a green brick. It can be a turtle. It can be economically friendly. It can be, my dog at home. It doesn't matter. Those bricks mean something different to me than they do to you and the audience members. What you build with them is what's significant.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it forces you to ask good questions to the person that built the construct. And I think oftentimes that's where we actually speed past conversation a little too fast, where we're not spending the time to ask really good questions. And so as a result, right, we build something or we get deep into a project or deep into a decision, and then we're like, oh no, we didn't think of these 5 things. And if we had just slowed down a little bit more, we could move faster now because we would have asked ourselves better questions.
Absolutely.
I'd love to know a little bit about maybe an example of a team that you
Yeah.
facilitated that you've seen kind of a lasting impact from this type of work. Kind of how have you seen this evolve the team over time?
Yeah. So the most recent example is it was a good one. And it's one of those where you never really, I mean, I went in with a plan of the questions I'm going to ask and the time we build and the time to reflect and had talked to the coach. It's actually my daughter's basketball team, Centennial High School in Frisco, Texas. And they have enough girls for 3 different teams. He was specific. He doesn't want the girls to sit with their team. So we did a draw a brick and sit at that table when you sit down. And they started building. And I asked questions like, what do you bring to the team? Or what are you most excited about this season? Then later, and we would do that was individual builds. And then we would do group builds. And then later I asked, what do you perceive as impediments to your success this season? And the earlier builds I was really surprised because you have varsity, junior varsity, and like a JV2. So we're talking 9th through 12th graders, girls. And some had been on the team for years that were seniors about to graduate. Some are brand new freshmen. And so many of their builds showed a person at the and they were facing each other on one end, and like the other end was like a whole bunch of other people. And some of them were high level, some were same level. But the theme throughout all of them was we're here to support each other as a team. If someone's not doing well, I need to reach down and support them and help them up. This school also has a large cultural diversity. And so one of the things that we talked about later in the impediment build was just because my teammate may not be 100% on the court, there might be other things going on in their world that I don't know about.
Yeah.
And for 9th through 12th grade girls to have that interpretation, I was like, wow, that's huge. It's looking at people and saying, I see you and I may not know all about you, but I understand that there's more and I'm here for you no matter what. Like it was such a moving expression. And it wasn't just one table that had that. It was almost all of the tables. And then when we talk at the end about, what are some thoughts that came up to you during this session, several of the girls said, I never thought about that before, but there's days that I'm not my best because I'm going through something. And I never thought that it could be the same for my teammate. So for them to have that, again, 9th through 12th grade girls, we're talking 14, 15 to 17, 18-year-olds, to have that awareness was huge. And I think, and I have daughters, I have a 15, 17, and 19-year-old daughters. To see them all the time on their phones and all the time on all the social media places, to put all of that away for an hour and a half to build on how we can be better as a team was just phenomenal. And the reason I was invited is it's a new coach this year, whole new coaching team.
Wow.
He's been signing off all the messages brick by brick, brick by brick. And I was like, what does that mean? Like to you personally? And he said, I just know that we have to have a strong foundation before we can really build a truly successful program. And so for the girls to chime into that as well was just really moving to see that transformation. So,
wow.
And that's just a small idea, but yeah, it's pretty powerful. And it can be powerful. It can be fun.
Yeah.
It can be, whatever. It's just not the, hey, everybody, let's come to a team building. And everyone's like, I don't want to go to the bar after hours. I've got kids. I've got, schoolwork I have to do. That doesn't fit everybody's picture, or it doesn't fit into everyone's schedule. And not that it's not productive. It can be, but what would help our teams better in the office hours? So imagine walking into that same conference room and having Lego bricks at everyone's seats, and they kind of look and they're like, what? This is going to be fun. And it is.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think about, some leaders I talk to, they call some of this stuff fluff, right? Oh, it's so fluffy. Like we don't have time for the fluff. And it's like you said, it goes back to that American mentality about what work is and what work isn't. But even in that example you provided, you were teaching those younger girls critical thinking skills,
Yes.
empathy skills, team building skills, and then perception building. So being able to see things from different angles besides just your own angle, being able to ask better questions of the people that are at the table with you, and being able to kind of almost open a door to skill build with one another. So there's so many things that this work that you do unlocks that are almost maybe unexpected to someone when they sit at a table with a
Yeah.
Lego.
Yeah, I'm going to pull a couple things out of what you just said. The unexpected, one of the things I say is it takes a courageous leader to bring in Lego series play, because your team can unlock things that you never saw coming. And most of it, there's never been a time that someone's like, oh, that's a horrible idea. I can't believe they thought. So it takes a leader to be able to say, yes, whatever the team comes up with, I'm fully on board with, investing. And you also said about perspectives. And when we seem to only look at things in one way, and during the exercises, we have people hold up and talk about the build. But then when you put it back down on the table and there's other elements to it, when you look at it from different perspectives, that also gives you an insight to maybe how someone else saw things. So one of the builds was very tall and vertical, and the coaches were down here and the girls were up here. And it was meant to show that the coaches had been supportive of the girls and that they were doing great and winning. And yet when you take that same model and look at it from the top down, you don't see the coaches. All you see is the girls together on a team. And so that also speaks a little bit to their emotional awareness of, I'm looking at this from my perspective. I'm not seeing all the other things that may be impacting the situation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Wow. I love the idea that, building this model could build kind of almost like a way of working as a team, a way of thinking, a way of perspective for a team. Talk about more about what are some of the other unexpected breakthroughs that teams might expect through Lego Serious Play that, as we're kind of building on this conversation that they wouldn't naturally think would come from doing something like this.
Sure. So, sadly, right now, there are so many companies just massively laying off their workforce.
Yeah.
And I remember when I worked for a large company before, it it was like cyclical, like every quarter, every 6 months, there'd be rumblings of there's more layoffs coming, there's more layoffs coming, there's more layoffs coming. And yes, I respect that sometimes businesses need to make those hard decisions. They don't want to lay people off. They want to be able to keep everybody, but economics and whatever, there's that turn. When those layoffs happen, it is a critical time to invest in the people that are still on board, because we want to hear, we value you, and we're really sorry that we had to lay off your coworkers, your friends that you've been working with for years.
Yeah.
Now that we're together and you know that we value you, let's talk about how we move forward and how we hold on to the values and the beliefs that our team and our company has, and implement those for us to be better. And to do that through Lego builds is transformative, because the things that they build subconsciously comes through. You see those changes and you're just like, wow. And my company just laid people off and invested in me to remind me that I have value. And it's tricky because I don't want to say the other people didn't have value, because of course they did, of course. But to bring the team together, where most companies, like you said earlier, skip the fluff, cut out training, cut out HR, extra. And these aren't extra things, these are fundamental things.
Yeah.
When we were kids, recess was not just a let's go outside every once in a while if we have the time. If our schedule allows it, let's go outside and play. Every day we went outside
Yeah.
and we worked our bodies and we worked, because you're more productive and your brain flows better when you're being creative. And for those people that say, I'm just not creative, I can't, those are the ones that have the most dynamic builds and
Mhm.
have the most insight to offer when they're building. They don't realize how creative they can be when they just let their hands build and when they let themselves just express all those things. So, yeah, it's hard. There's siloed organizations, strategic times, team building. When a director or leader comes to me and says, let's do Lego series play, we sit down with the same set of Lego bricks, and she tells me what's going on in the organization, and I build a model of how I understand that to be. And I ask, do I need to make any changes? Do you see any modifications? Yes. And we go back and forth. And then we talk about what's the goal of the workshop, and we start working out questions, and it can go this way, it can go that way, and we pivot during the exercise if we need to. One thing that I thought was so interesting when I was first trained to do this is, so we leave those Legos and then buy new sets for each. And they said, absolutely not. Each participant gets to keep a small bag of Legos, but you don't want the companies to be stuck in what they built that day. And if they keep it, then they get stuck in that, look, this is where we are, this is what we're doing. And you want them to be able to see that this is where we are and where we see ourselves going. And if we need to pivot from that, we absolutely can. But we came up with this model together, whether it's impediments included or not. And this is how we're going to accomplish those. During the builds, we have sticky notes, and everyone creates what we call simple guiding principles. So what am I going to take moving forward from today? What are some things that I'm going to share, moving forward, how I see us, getting to the next step. And the leadership does get to keep those simple guiding principles. It's amazing to see all the different teams come up with different simple guiding principles. And when you see them on the board, there's still that common theme of, we're a team and we're in this together. And it's, so yes, it can be considered fluff, but it can also be considered business critical. Like, we've got to do this to invest in our teams. And when I leave those bags of sets, I say, when you get stuck, start building. When you feel like you can't, be creative anymore, you have nothing else to add, just start building and see what your mind comes up with. Leave it on your desk until you have another struggle, and disassemble and keep building. And those are great conversation reminders, and teams can then use those in further building if they want to, or I'd always love to go back and do further sessions. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what you're talking about here is how do you foster a culture of innovation? How do you create a culture where people can build beyond their limitations?
Yes.
Whether it's the layoffs piece
Yep.
that's happening, or whether it's downturn in economy and now you're having to pivot your business model.
Yeah.
The question is, how can you keep building even through the challenging times? So I'd love for you to give us just some final thoughts around that, or innovation, or around what you do.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate you saying that, because it is a long term. It's not just investing in the situation of the moment, it's investing in your team, showing them and allowing them to express their needs and wants and desires and goals for themselves and for the team.
Yeah.
The opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. And if we don't bring play into, or playfulness, it doesn't have to mean Lego bricks. It can be different types of creativity. If it's watercolors or Play-Doh, dare say, bringing that creativity into your workplace. Quick story. I used to be a sales trainer for a cybersecurity company. And the first day of the sales kickoff, it's held in the hotel with the 12 different tables of 8 people per table, and the lights go down so that the presentation can be seen. And there's one guy. Sales people are not used to that type of environment. They're used to moving and shaking and making calls and, taking out lunches and all these things. So the first day, I noticed that so many people were just like restless. They were, standing at their chairs and on their phones and walking around. And that night, I thought, we got to do something to engage them. So I went and bought Play-Doh, put it around each table. It was cheaper than Lego at the time. Put it around each table, and questions are asked. What's the Play-Doh for? It's for you. Do whatever you want to do. The models that they built were just very detailed. I never saw it coming. But what was even more impressive is they stayed in their chairs and they were listening. And while they were listening, they were building. So more of that information probably was retained because they were being creative at the same time. So it's not just Legos. It's invite playfulness into work, invite a personal side into your everyday activities. It allows you to get to know your teams better, and it offers some levity in such a heavy, heavy time right now.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one last quote. And I know you're a mom. You can tell me what this is from. In every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. You find the fun and snap, the job's a game.
I don't know. You're
Oh,
gonna have
Mary Poppins.
to... Okay.
Mary Poppins said that to the kids when the house was a disaster. And once she made it fun, they were willing to get the work done and, scrub all
Yeah.
things. But that just speaks to, we've got to stop taking ourselves so seriously. Just, yes, there's work and business that needs to be done. But if we can invite some creativity and playfulness into that, you never know what your team's capable of.
Wow. That's so good. Where can people find and follow you?
Absolutely. I'm linked to you on LinkedIn. So that's one way. Two, my website is elevateyourtalent.co. And my email is simple. It's jolynn@elevateyourtalent.co. And I'd love to connect. If you have ideas that you can share with me. Natalie, I told you earlier, you're invited to join my podcast, Play for Performance. Yeah,
Yes.
where I interview other pro play practitioners for the workplace. So all different types of people that, if it's rest or watercolor creates, it doesn't matter. If you are an advocate for fun in the workplace, I want to talk to you. Yeah, this has been great. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jolynn. It's been wonderful, and especially to expand our mind and think about creativity. Well, to our listeners, thank you for joining the Innovation Meets Leadership podcast. Remember, don't just get out of the box, break the box and set it on fire. Let's go transform something.
Thank you for joining us for the Innovation Meets Leadership podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our show on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Innovation Meets Leadership, and visit our site at innovationmeetsleadership.com for more innovation resources.
Hey, my new book is out, Set It on Fire, The Art of Innovation. Click on the link to learn more. And don't just get out of the box, break the box and set it on fire. Let's go transform something.